Hi students. So today we're going to be learning about rational numbers on a number line. So we've already learned what rational numbers are. So now we're going to place them on a number line. So how would you order these numbers using a number line? Well, first of all, I could see that I have some decimals, I have some percent, and I have some fractions here. The first thing that I have to do is I have to convert them all into the same format. Either they're all fractions, all decimals, or all percents. So what I am going to do is I'm going to convert them all into decimals. Okay. Now guys, remember that you should be filling in your notes as I am filling in these notes. You should have your Jamboard open and you should be writing. Alright, let's begin. So my first number here, -4/10, it's already a decimal. Therefore, I don't have to do anything to it. This 80%, think of Dr. Pepper. But we're going from a percent to a decimal. So I move it 2 times to the left. And my decimal is either 8 tenths or 80 hundredths, either or, same answer. -1 -1/10. Again, it's already a decimal, so I don't have to do anything to it. 160%, percent to a decimal, 2 times to the left. So I go 1, 2 to the left, and my decimal is 1.6 or 1.60. 1.3 is already a decimal, so I have to do nothing to it. My 150%, again, percent to decimal, so you move it 2 times to the left. My decimal is 1.5 or 1.50. My last rational number is -9/10. So I'm going to write it the same way as it sounds. -9/10. Okay, now that I have all my numbers in a decimal form, now I can start rearranging them in my number line. So I see that I have a 0, a +1, +2, and a -1. So I'm going to count the spaces in between, and that's going to help me determine what value each line is. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 spaces, which means that they're split into tenths. So this would be 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10. This would be 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, so on and so forth. Anything left of the 0 is a negative, so this would be -0.1, -0.2, -0.3, -0.4. Okay, and then you would just count. Continue the counting. Now we're just going to drag and plot our numbers to where they belong. -4/10. Well, I wrote that one there. Here it is. I'm just going to draw a line and place it where it belongs. 80 hundredths or 8/10. That one's over here. -1/10. Right there. 1.6. So 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6. And it's positive. Make sure you are paying attention to whether it's positive or negative. 1.3, 1.5, so that's 3, this is 4, and this is 5, and -0.9. That would be all over here. 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, and 0.9. Yes. And there, that's all we have to do. Just make sure that they're all in the same form, and you just plot them on the number line. Simple. Let's go to our next example. Okay, so same thing. We're going to place these rational numbers on the number line. Again, make sure that they are all in decimal form. My first number is negative 8 over 4. Well, if I divide 8 divided by 4, that gives me 2. So this is technically negative 2. 2 and 3/20. Alright, so my whole numbers I know is going to stay the same. And this fraction is the only thing I need to convert into a decimal. So I know my number is going to be 2 point something. What is that something? Well, 3/20 is my fraction. I have to convert that to a decimal, so I can either TIBO it, top in, bottom out, or since my denominator is a 20, I can easily convert that into a 100 by multiplying by 5. What you do to the bottom, you must always do to the top. 3 times 5 gives me 15, so this is 15 over 100, so I'll just write 15 hundredths here. So my decimal of 2 and 3/20 is 2 and 15 hundredths. My percents, 2 times to the left, so this is negative 2.5. I'm going to drop the 0. It makes it easier for plotting, but you know that it can also be written as 2.50. 7/3. 7/3 is an improper fraction, so I'm going to TIBO, top in, bottom out. Top number goes in, bottom number goes out. And then I divide. 3 goes into 7. Well, yes, it does. Twice. 2 times 3, 6. 7 minus 6 equals 1. 3 does not go into 1. But add a decimal, bring it up, add a 0. 3 goes into 10. Yes. 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. 10 minus 9 is 1. Add a 0. Okay. This is going to be a pattern. So because I know it's going to repeat over and over again, I'm just going to draw the little line on top of the 3 to show repetition. So my decimal is 2 and 33 hundredths with the repeating 3. Okay. 2 and 2/5. Okay, I know my whole number is going to stay the same. 2/5 is the only thing that I need to convert into a decimal. So again, because I could also divide it, I could TIBO it, but because my denominator is such an easy number, I can easily convert that into a 10. Remember that whenever we're trying to find a decimal, so whenever we're converting a fraction to a decimal, I'm looking for denominators of a 10 or a 100. So this 5 easily converts into a 10 by multiplying it by 2. So I do the same thing to the top. 2 times 2 is 4. This is 4 tenths. So my decimal is negative 2.4 or negative 2 and 4 tenths. And finally, 2.6 or 2 and 6 tenths is already in a decimal form, so I don't have to do anything to that. Okay, now we're going to place it on the number line. I have a 0, positive 3, negative 3, so I'm just going to pre-fill and say that this is a positive 1, this is a positive 2, negative 1, negative 2, and then in between, just to help me, I'm going to put my halves. I'm going to split them in half. So between 0 and 1, the midpoint or the halfway point would be 0.5. Between 1 and 2, my midpoint is 1.5. And between 2 and 3, my midpoint is 2.5. Same thing with my negative side. Midpoint between 0 and -1 would be -1/2 or -0.5. Between -1 and -2, my midpoint is -1.5. And between -2 and -3, my midpoint is -2.5. Now I can gauge where each number will go. My -8/4, well, that equal to a -2. So that one is right here. I'm going to plot that in. And I'm going to write my rational number, -8/4. 2.15. Okay, so 2.15 is positive. So that's going to be somewhere right here. A little bit after the 2. It's like saying 2.1, right? If that's 2.5, then I know it's going to be closer to the 2. So this would be 2 3/20. -2.5. Well, that one's right here. That's my midpoint. So this is -250%. 2.33. Well, this is 2.15. So positive 2.33. I'm going to say it's somewhere right here. And again, I know it's not perfect, obviously, because we didn't measure it or we didn't split them evenly, but you get the idea. You place it where it would best fit. -2.4. Well, that's somewhere here. That's right next to the -2.5. Okay, I'm gonna drag it down here and I'm gonna write the number here just to have more space. -2 2/5. Okay. And finally 2.6. Well, that is right after the 2.5. And that is it, guys. That's literally everything you have to do. Make sure they're all in decimal form and then just plot them on your number line. Okay, I want you to pause the video and attempt to do the next problem. This one right here. Oh, look, I gave you the answer to the first one already. 1/2 as a decimal is 0.5. So I want you to do this one and then attempt to place it on the number line. Okay, go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so now let's work on it together. So 30%, let me change colors. Okay, 30%, so 0.30 or 0.3, -9/10, this is -9/10, 1, 2, 1.8, that's already a decimal. Oh, look here, this is an improper fraction. Okay, so let's divide. Let's divide down here to have more space. Top in, bottom out. Alright, does 10 go into 27? Yes, it does. 2 times. 2 times 10, 20. 27 minus 20 gives me 7. Add a decimal, bring it down. Don't forget to add your decimal to your top. Now, 10 goes into 70 7 times. 7 times 10 equals 70. My decimal is 2.7. Okay, I used TiVo to help me. Again, I have another improper fraction. I know that my whole number will remain the same, and I just have to worry about my 9/15. Well, first of all, I can go ahead and just top in, bottom out, or I can try and simplify my fraction. I'm going to divide my numerator by 3 and my denominator by 3. 9 divided by 3 gives me 3. 15 divided by 3 gives me 5. Look, I have an easier fraction to work with. So I'm not going to divide this time, but know that you could also divide, okay? You could totally divide and you would still get the same answer, I promise. But here I'm going to work with 3/5 because I know that I can easily convert that into a 10 by multiplying by 2. 3 times 2, is 6. 6 over 10, 6 tenths. My decimal is 2.6. And now we plot in the number line. Okay, once you've pre-filled your number line like I did, now all we have to do is mark them. 0.5 is right here, so this is my half, my positive half. 0.3, well, I know that's closer to the 0, so I'm going to place it right here. It's my 30%. I negative 0.9. I know that's almost to the 1, but not quite, so I'm going to put it right here. My 1.8, these are positives. Let me erase these lines. It looks like they're negatives, but they're not. Okay. 1.8, if this is 1.5 and that's positive 2, I know 1.8 should be around here. Negative 1.5, well, that one's easy. 2.7, and it's positive. If this is 2.5, so I know it's closer to the 3. And negative 2.6, it's right after the 2.5. Negative 2, 9, and 15. And there you go, guys. That is it for today's lesson. Now you could go ahead and start on your homework. Bye, guys.